Over the 3 decades I have been a wealth manager, I've come to realize that one of the parts I enjoy most is when I get to work with multi-generational families. Early in my career, I started advising the younger members as they were embarking on their wealth journey. In many instances, I have watched them grow as I myself have grown as an advisor. We've shared many stories together at the onset of our careers, developing relationships and starting families. And now I get to see my peers start to hand down to their children, which is the same thing I am doing with my daughters, as they too start their journeys into adulthood. And as many of our clients and their families have accumulated more wealth, not only have they found themselves in a more comfortable position financially, no longer worrying about the day-to-day money issues, but we have helped secure their retirement. They have been able to pay for college for their children or grandchildren, and have started to ask more about not just passing down their money with proper sophisticated estate planning, but also about passing down their values. It's easy, although time-consuming, to pass down your assets. You work with your attorney and CPA to develop a plan that makes sense for your needs today and for your heirs in the future. But no one wants their children to become trust fund babies, potentially losing their motivation to seek a meaningful career and make a difference in the world. So how can we help ensure that your values are passed down? One way we help is with a family meeting. And yes, it sounds just like it is. I think many of us have been having family meetings for years, but we didn't realize it. It's called dinner. When I was growing up, we'd be playing football in the street, and then we heard the sounds of our parents calling us in for dinner. And we sat down with our siblings and our parents and talked about the day, the events, or whatever. And maybe at the time I didn't realize or appreciate it, but a lot was happening at those meals. The importance of passing down our family values. And years later, when my wife and I started our family, we both knew the importance of family meals. And while I was not able to be there every night, I made a point that I was there far more often than not, because I knew the value of spending that time with our daughters. And maybe as the times have changed and the conversations were still the same, and our values were slowly seeping into our children, maybe not as fast as they inhaled the food, but they got the benefit of our time. So a formal family meeting is really just an outgrowth of dinner. However, substitute an agenda for a menu. A family meeting is not a one and done. Don't just think, okay, we'll have this one Tuesday night and we'll move on. In most cases, it will need to be a long-term, gradual event. In the first meeting, you don't just share your balance sheet with your children and say, well, this is what we're worth, and when we die, it's yours. That isn't a meeting. It actually sounds like a surefire plan for your children to become the dreaded trust fund baby. A family meeting is about sharing details of your estate plan, but more importantly, it's about sharing your values. A few years ago, while we were on vacation, I decided it was time to start sharing more with our children. And we spoke about our values and our hopes for them, and imparted with them the following bits of fatherly wisdom, which I hope they will take to heart. When you start your adult life, find a career that you enjoy. Don't worry about your first few jobs and enjoying or not enjoying it, but your career, your vocation. Make sure that you enjoy them. Because if you don't, going to work will be a chore. It's not that work should be a joyous adventure like a vacation. And it's not that you're going to enjoy every part of your job, but you need to find a career that brings you fulfillment and joy. And my second rule was to please make enough money at your job to get off of our payroll. I am happy to report my older daughter has started her career, and I think rule largely applies, as she is on her way to rule 2. Aside from health insurance and our cell phone plan, she is financially on her own. This tells me that she was paying attention at dinner. During this first family meeting, we also talked about our values and how we would support and help, but not coddle them, how they would both graduate college debt-free, something I know they don't take for granted as they see many of their friends struggling with college debt. And we will have more family meetings where we will share more details, and they will come when we and they are ready to listen. So a family meeting is about working on shared values, what matters to you, like community, helping others, passing down a family business if there is one, and many other details. We have helped many of our multi-generational families design and develop a family meeting agenda to meet their objectives. Here are a few tips and ideas to think about as you plan your first family meeting. Decide who's going to attend. Do you want your children, your grandchildren, spouses as well? Get buy-in from those attending, including having them be part of the planning process. Tell your children about what you are planning and ask if they have things that they want to share or if there are things they want to hear more about. Establish a purpose and goals. Decide on the location. Don't just do it before a big family event, a wedding or something like that. Make it its own event and pick a safe, comfortable environment. And don't discount Zoom if you have a far-flung family. Provide an agenda in advance so everyone knows what to expect, including advance notice as whether they should become prepared with anything. It is estimated that over the next 20 years, hundreds of billions of dollars of wealth will be handed down to the next generations. You want to ensure that they are prepared to manage it. Having these types of conversations on your deathbed is not recommended, so plan on starting years earlier. The amount of wealth many of our clients' families have accumulated is beyond anything they plan. Just like with a financial plan where we help our clients by showing them the forecasted future of their wealth, a family meeting is similar, but includes future generations. Be patient. This is a process. Most Americans are not used to discussing their wealth in the open, so it will take time for the matriarchs and the patriarchs to get comfortable with this. And it will take patience up for the next generations to understand and to hear what is being passed down. With great wealth comes even greater responsibility. Warren Buffett once said, "Someone sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago."
Hightower Westchester is a group of investment professionals registered with HighTower Securities, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and with HighTower Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Securities are offered through HighTower Securities, LLC. Advisory services are offered through HighTower Advisors, LLC. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities. No investment process is free of risk, and there is no guarantee that the investment process or the investment opportunities referenced herein will be profitable. Past performance is not indicative of current or future performance and is not a guarantee. The investment opportunities referenced herein may not be suitable for all investors. All data and information referenced herein are from sources believed to be reliable. Any opinions, news, research, analyses, prices, or other information contained in this research is provided as a general market commentary. It does not constitute investment advice. Hightower Westchester and Hightower shall not in any way be liable for claims and make no expressed or implied representations or warranties as to the accuracy or completeness of the data and other information, or for statements or errors contained in or omissions from the obtained data and information referenced herein. The data and information are provided as of the date referenced. Such data and information are subject to change without notice. This podcast was created for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are solely those of Hightower Westchester and do not represent those of HighTower Advisors, LLC, or any of its affiliates. HighTower Advisors do not provide tax or legal advice. This material was not intended or written to be used or presented to any entity as tax advice or tax information. Tax laws vary based on the client's individual circumstances and can change at any time without notice. Clients are urged to consult their tax or legal advisor before establishing a retirement plan.